Turn the 0-2 into the 0-3, then sweep. Welcome to SI Now. I'm Robin Lundberg here with Amy Campbell. And Amy, I guess they remain the LeBronto Raptors.
Gosh, that is so good. The Cavs swept the Raptors. Like, this is real. It happened. And it didn't matter that Toronto had the #1 seed or 2 All-Stars or a top 5 defense because they don't have the king. And it took Cleveland 7 games to beat the Pacers, and they go 4 for 4 against Toronto. Robin, what do you think changed for the Cavs between rounds?
Matchups is the first thing. I was saying this going into the series. I thought that Toronto would pose fewer problems for Cleveland than Indiana did, even though Toronto was the better team. Maybe the other Cavs saw the SNL skit and were motivated. But, you know, the Pacers' quick guards gave the Cavs a lot of problems on both sides. Thad Young really neutralized Kevin Love, and George Hill was hurt. In this series, a lot of those things reversed. Kevin Love had his way with Valanciunas on the perimeter. George Hill was back in the lineup, and the Cavs' starting 5 is really clicking with Hill, J.R. Smith, Korver, LeBron, and Love. They're plus 17.5 in net rating during the playoffs. So it's a myriad of factors. And then, of course, the LeBron factor, and the Raptors had no answer for him.
It's like we should have seen this coming, even though it looked like LeBron was on the ropes a couple of times. And I do think that the other starters are really starting to kick into high gear is important. This stat kind of jumped out at me. The starters versus the Pacers, 69.3 points per game versus the Raptors, 91.8 points per game. So LeBron's getting finally that contribution from the other guys. But I think the mental narrative here is key too, especially for Toronto. It's real that LeBron is absolutely in their head, and they had him on the ropes in game 1. He was right there. They needed to take that death blow, and they weren't able to get it against LeBron. And I knew after that happened, I was like, ooh, they are smelling. This narrative is in their heads, and they can smell it. Cleveland can smell it. There's no overstating how real that was in this series as well.
And they lost in like every conceivable fashion, right? Cavs come back, buzzer beater, blowout, everything went their way.
Just demoralizing in so many ways for them.
Meanwhile, LeBron is finally going to get some rest. He played 82 games, more minutes than any player in the league, has averaged more than 40 minutes per game in the playoffs, including that 7-game series with the Pacers. Can it be overstated how important it is for him to get some time off?
Absolutely not. You saw that post-game interview with him, and he was like, I cannot wait to rest. You could just feel the sigh of relief. And there is no overstating how much he has played. In his career, in postseason play, he's played more, another season plus than most people. And
another 3 seasons.
Another 3 seasons. There you go. I knew it was more than 1, which is remarkable. So add another 3 years to his career and consider that he's been doing this for a long time. And he didn't rest this season. He wasn't injured this season like a lot of these guys who have been able to take some time, keep themselves fresh. There's no overstating that. And another stat that jumped out at me is that for LeBron, his points, rebounds, and assists, almost identical numbers to DeRozan and Lowry combined. He's playing twice put the 2 All-Stars together and you equal LeBron.
Well, it's amazing that he never seems to break down. I mean, after the 2015 finals, I was wondering if he was going to break down that Dellavedova series. This year, of course, playing 82 games, and then after 7 games, is it going to happen? Still, the break is good for the legs. They didn't have any games in this series where they had more than 1 day off in between, so he can go in his cryogenic chamber. Yes. You know, he can get his oil changed. Whatever he winds up doing in this time period off, I think it's going to be very beneficial for him and for the Cavs in their run, at least through the East.
His kale oil change there. Let's not lose sight of this other storyline that's happening here for Toronto. Dwayne Casey, job status, job security. People are talking about it. What do you make of this?
I think it's a reaction to something needs to happen, right?
That's
when
fair.
You get swept out. Yeah. And really, I would almost give the Raptors credit and Casey credit in a sense. They've probably maximized what they have. This is a team that won 59 games. You're really going to get rid of the coach after that because you're losing to the one-man dynasty there in the Eastern Conference. If I'm the Raptors, there's one move I look into making this offseason, and that's exploring the trade possibilities for DeMar DeRozan. I don't know how much the market is going to be, but it's a lot easier said than done to simply turn this team into a championship team because I think they've basically hit their ceiling, and I would give Casey more credit than I would blame.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they do need to make some changes. What that will be, I think, should not be in that head coaching position. I completely agree with you. Unlike big, bad Toronto, not so big and bad, clearly. Philadelphia did avoid the sweep, and the process lives to fight another day. They all head back to Boston, down 3-1. Is there any chance that Philly can come back from 0-3?
I'm not picking them, right?
Right.
I wouldn't do that, but I would say of the teams that have been in that hole, they probably have a better chance than most. And TJ McConnell's a big reason why.
Yeah.
You saw him get inserted into the starting lineup. Covington was really struggling. And it took some of the pressure off of Ben Simmons because it was another guy who could put the ball on the floor a little bit, get into the teeth of the defense. Obviously, he adds the competitive spirit that maybe they were missing. So that was a big change that I think will have an effect on the dynamics of the series going forward. And maybe we'll see a better performance from Philadelphia than we expected. The problem is a 3-0 hole is a 3-0 hole, and the Celtics only need to get one more. So, of course, I'm picking Boston.
Right, and I think Philly did what they were supposed to do by winning that one at home. That's what they were supposed to do. I was hoping to see a little bit more competitive of a series. Now, this last game we saw was great, and I hope that this series goes on for as long as it possibly can. I would like to see a Game 7. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. They're going to Boston now. But the Vegas odds do have Philly favored in this next game, so I think that that's interesting. But either way, this is a great experience for these young guys. To be the favorite to win the East heading into this thing is pretty remarkable for a young team. Get that real experience under their belt. We have a lot to look forward to there.
Game 3 is going to be the one they look back on and say, I wish we would have gotten that one.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, the Detroit Pistons, they are in the market for a new head coach as the franchise has decided to move on from Stan Van Gundy. Van Gundy had 1 year left on a 5-year deal, but after failing to make the playoffs for the second straight year, Detroit wants to find someone new. As for Van Gundy, Robin, do you think that this is the last we've seen of him coaching in the NBA?
I think it's a good chance it's the last we've seen of him coaching in the NBA. I could still foresee him getting a coaching job. The problem, I don't think, was Stan Van Gundy coaching the Pistons. I think it was the personnel decisions. And we've seen over and over again, it's very difficult for someone to be both the head coach and managing the roster. And I think that's where his time in Detroit is going to look bad, is the roster construction, not necessarily the day-to-day coaching.
Right, and I think one of the criticisms of Van Gundy is that he's kind of failed to evolve to this next level of, or this next evolution of what we do see in the NBA, that he's a little bit old school and it's not quite working right now. And so, I will never say nobody can get back in the NBA because I feel like these guys they just keep recycling, and you never know, somebody comes out of nowhere and crawls back up to a head coaching position. And I think that he would need to put away a lot of the old school ways and make some changes. But, we've seen a lot of times that Jeff Van Gundy is always in the conversation for a job, and he seems to really like that.
The Van Gundy brothers could go back into coaching together. The problem, again, though, with the Pistons, I think, is more the mediocre personnel.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, not such mediocre personnel. Alex Ovechkin has finally bested Sidney Crosby after Ovechkin and the Capitals had failed to beat Crosby and the Penguins in their previous 3 tries. They eliminated Pittsburgh in 6 games. Ovechkin now has 15 points in 12 postseason contests, so is he better than Crosby?
I mean, how do you define better? Is it based on talent? Is it based on wins? I think these are 2 very talented players, and maybe you could toss a coin or make different arguments for why you think someone is more talented. I think what separates somebody that's better is that they're winning. So I think it was very exciting to watch Alex Ovechkin have this moment, and you could just feel that relief like melting off of him, watching him get that victory over this nemesis, this rivalry that has haunted him for so long. But I don't think that you can say that he's necessarily better when he doesn't have the wins.
It's a great argument either way. I could take either side. To me, this is very analogous to Messi and Ronaldo in soccer, with Ovechkin being Ronaldo and Crosby being Messi. One guy, the playmaker, creating for others. The other guy, the finisher. And in the NBA, I tend to favor the playmaker. But in soccer and hockey, I can make the case for the finisher because goals are at such a premium.
Yeah.
An early season battle in another sport getting underway. The AL East has its first big matchup in the Bronx. And MLB announced the 2 teams, being the Yankees and Red Sox, will play in London in 2019. Meanwhile, the Red Sox might have another connection to London, as Mookie Betts could be distant relatives with the soon-to-be royal Meghan Markle, according to the Boston Globe. Do you find this ancestral anecdote interesting?
Yes, but I actually do have a source on this. I had the pleasure of, in the makeup room this morning, speaking with Imogen Lloyd-Webber, Royals expert. She said she's read and written hundreds of pages on Meghan Markle, and she's never heard this before. But I think it's definitely interesting to talk about. I'm glad we could get a little Royals gossip in our show today.
Yeah, I don't find it interesting. I don't care about the royal family whatsoever. To something our audience might care a little bit more about, here's a look at Mookie Betts and how good the MVP candidate has been thus far this season.
Mookie Betts' bat is hot. The young right fielder boasts a ridiculous .355, .434, .818 line. He also leads MLB with 13 home runs. Why is Betts on fire compared to last season? Simple. He's swinging more. Just take a look at the heat maps. On strikes, Betts is taking 5% more swings than last season. And if it's in the strike zone, he's gonna crush it. Betts' crazy production at the plate, coupled with stellar play in the field, has him sitting second in wins above replacement at 2.6. As the temperature rises this summer, don't expect Mookie Betts to cool off.
Dancing with the Stars sets its sights on the sports world Mondays 8 p.m. on ABC with a special athletes edition. And joining me now, someone on the show, cornerback for the Washington Redskins, Josh Norman. Josh, what's tougher, training for a big dancing performance or covering Odell Beckham Jr.?
I mean, training for this right here is super tough. You know, training for an opponent that I face, it's a bit different. Both of them have their pros and cons, but this is tough, man. I'm telling you. When you have a short amount of time to prepare and then you're doing something you don't know, it's extremely harder than I think the other thing that you do know.
Is there anything you'll take from the dancing that you think could translate to the field?
Yeah, of course, I think so. The way I carry myself and my posture and my ability to, you know, stay leveled, stay quick on my toes and be able to pick up stuff a bit faster and process it and get it out there.
Now, onto the field. Des Bryant has said he hopes to find a team in the NFC East. Of course, you guys have had some battles in the past. Is he the type of guy you'd want to bring into the Washington Redskins locker room?
If the guy can help us, the man can help us, it's almost like it's a no-brainer. But obviously, you got to do your research on people and you got to see if this is a fit. If it's a fit, great. If it's not, then so be it. But I'm always for someone that's trying to better themselves in their career.
Let's go to somebody that is new to the team, but is going to be there, of course, and that's Alex Smith. Is there anything you've seen from Alex Smith that makes you think, all right, you know, we're going to be on the map this year. This is the year that we can take that next step?
Well, you know, he brings in a cerebral approach to the game, you know, very cerebral in what he does. He's a winner. Welcome to the field first league. See that. A guy like that, he commands a huddle, he commands a space, a room. And you feel good going behind a guy like that when you get out on the field. You know, Alex, he has that.
As a player, how would you describe the culture of the Washington Redskins now that you've been there a few years?
The culture is changing, of course. It's changing in the guys that we have in there, the guys that we bring in there, and obviously, you know, training them up into what you want it to be. And we have veterans, or we got leaders now that's pretty much stepping into that role and doing things the way it should be done, the right way. Get that solidified, get our groundwork and our roots, you know, established, and then go from there, man. I mean, that's where it starts.
How big has your role, do you think, been in changing the culture while you've been there?
Well, you know, just, I guess, mindset, hard work, establishing a set of grounds that where you can look at someone and be like, okay, we can go out there and we can follow this guy. Be open and very much so passionate and do right by my teammates. So I think that's the biggest thing. Do right by others and they'll do right by you. So just trying to love on those guys and show them, you know, a little bit of what I've learned and through, you know, my years in this league.
Cowboys and the Eagles, they're talked about as the early season favorites for the NFC East. The Giants got thrown in there last year. Do you think people are sleeping on your team?
Every year, so it never fails. I think it's almost, you know, I'm going away, but at the end of the day, I think if it was left up to those guys who, you know, the bookings and make those decisions, then we would never be anywhere. So you got to keep it on yourself. You got to just go to work with your hard hat on every day, and you just got to, you know, you got to tote your lunchbox, you know, you got to do the things you have to do to become successful, because if you let people dictate who you are, your outcome is going to be what they say it is.
Do you have any outlook for how you think the record will be?
Yeah, shoot, going to the playoffs. That's the first step. Making the playoffs, man. I haven't been back there in a couple seasons, and of course, I'm starving. I'm not hungry. I'm starving for that. So trust me when I say that's just something that I'm putting all 110% max effort into doing. This is the only thing I care about and it matters to me most is going to that playoff berth. And once we in there, man, anything happens. Someone always can fall. Someone always can tumble. So just getting in that dance, man, is where it all starts.
Finally, tell us how fans can vote for you on the show.
Team Back That Pass Up is our name. So it's Dance with the Stars, WTS, Team Back That Pass Up. I have it on my various social media sites as well too. Who all that follows on Twitter and Instagram, and even Facebook. So it's going to be a big deal to vote for us because we are definitely having a lot of fun with this. It's a lot of hard work too. Oh my gosh, it's so much harder than I expected it to be. But anything that puts work into it and you become successful, it's that much more glorious. So. That's where we're going to be at, man. And you can dial in also at 1-800-868-3407. 1-800-868-3407. Vote Team Back That Pass Up. I just got the information right here.
You got it all right, man. Like, look, I believe it's a lot of hard work. Plus, you got to talk to guys like me, Josh Norman. Mondays, 8 p.m. ABC. You can catch him. And, of course, you can catch him on the field for the Washington Redskins. Appreciate the time, Josh.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys, man, as always. Take it easy.
SI Swimsuit has named not one, but two winners of its 2018 Model Search contest. Camile Kostek is here, and Hailey Kalil joins us from Skype. Guarantees both of these ladies a spot in the SI Swimsuit 2019 issue as rookie models. Now, first of all, congratulations on the honor to both of you.
Thank you.
It's quite the reveal out in Las Vegas. First of all, I want to hear your perspective. Describe how this all went down.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Hailey, cut in whenever you want, but we went out to Vegas. We knew that it was going to be a Sports Illustrated swimsuit appearance. We knew we were going to have fun. We were going to party with all the other girls. But this whole process since, just about a year ago to date has been so unpredictable. Having it be the first ever open casting call, you just don't know what to expect. How many rounds are we advancing? How many rounds are there going to be? And sure enough, Danielle Harrington hopped in, dropped the news about both of us, and we lost it from there.
It was a pretty
insane.
cool moment. I've seen the video of it too. Hailey, I mean, I saw you posted this a lot on Instagram as well. What's your memory of it? Does it kind of blur together at all?
Oh my goodness. I mean, my heart races just thinking about it. It's all a blur to me. When we got pulled aside in Vegas, I just remember looking at Camile and being like, oh, interviews. We're used to doing all these interviews together. When they pulled us aside, just the two of us, I thought, oh, we get to talk about the SI Swim Search and the experience. And the second Danielle walked out, Camile and I looked at each other. I just started crying. And
I have
that's
chills again, Hale. Oh my God.
happening.
It was a pretty powerful moment. And you mentioned the SI swimsuit. You both went through this process last year, doing a couple of SI swim shoots, getting to know some of the other models and the photographers, being a part of the media circus that surrounds it all. How do you think that experience has prepared you for your now upcoming rookie year?
This has actually been some of the easiest stuff to talk about going through because it's something that I've wanted for so long that, I don't know, it's been the easiest media I've ever done. I get so excited to talk about everything SI, and every time we would sit down in SI studio or on radio or wherever it may be, it just, Hailey knows, it just kind of authentically just comes out, and it's
right.
And it's been pretty fun.
And you guys are the first two models to be officially named into the 2019 magazine, so that's huge. That's huge as well.
I still can't believe it. I'm pinching myself to even think that I'm a 2019 rookie, let alone one of the first ones announced. That's incredible. So I'm just honored to be a part of all this, especially with Camile.
Now, Sports Illustrated's SITV has also produced a documentary series featuring Camile and Hailey that follows SI Swimsuit's open casting called SI Swim Search: The Journey to Find the Next SI Swimsuit Star. Now, the series is available to stream now on Amazon channels. Well, Hailey, was there a moment in the experience that stuck out to you the most?
It was really just the entire experience as a whole. Getting to watch those episodes on Amazon was absolutely incredible because you see yourself going through these steps and these phases of the process. And the entire time, all I was thinking was, please just pick me for the next step. Please just pick me for the next step. And I think it was those periods of time that you grew as a person. I felt so much more confident going through the process and meeting everyone that I did and kind of growing as a person. So I think the overall process there wasn't really a moment that stuck out. It was just the entire thing. Of course, winning at the end with Camile stuck out. But
It's definitely the highlight, the peak moment right there.
Yes.
All right, Camile and Hailey, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
So much for taking the time, and look forward to following you guys both on this
Thanks for
journey.
having us.
yes, thank you.
The Met Gala was last night, so of course I spent hours on Twitter looking at all of the beautiful and inspiring fashion choices that people made. And for me, this wasn't quite one of them. Here's Tom Brady interpreting the theme of heavenly bodies, fashion, and the Catholic imagination. So Giselle looks beautiful, but what is happening here with Tommy?
He looks like someone who could turn avocados into ice cream. Does he
Well,
not? And for my next trick, I shall make Jimmy Garoppolo disappear. I don't know exactly what's going on with Tom Brady, but everything off the field of late hasn't exactly worked into his favor.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm just almost speechless.
Watch as I deflate a football with just the powers of my mind.
I don't hate the blazer. To me, the hair and the turtleneck are very strange and a strange combination. And she just looks so amazing. And he's like the Prince Charming out of Cinderella, kind of like maybe I would run into him at Disney World.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure this was coordinated, so I don't know if it was like, Tom Brady went in the closet. It was like, I'm wearing this, regardless of what you're wearing.
Fine, I will make this happen.
Well, maybe the fashion went wrong for Tom Brady, but only one thing went wrong for the Cavs last night. According to The Athletic, guard Rodney Hood refused to enter the game in garbage time after being removed from the rotation for Jetty Osman. Should someone remind him that he is Rodney Hood?
Yeah, he is Rodney Hood. I don't understand why you would be mad. You're about to sweep the Raptors and you're about to move on and you get to play with LeBron and the team's firing on all cylinders. He's not LeBron. He's Rodney Hood. I'm like, why are you mad?
In this postseason.
Yeah,
he
that
forced Ty Lue's hand. He had to remove him from the rotation. So you really cannot be upset about it when you're not playing good enough to be playing in the playoffs.
There's no room for that attitude around here.
Meanwhile, we got a couple comments coming in. Kevin Pearson says 5 days or more of rest has been a disadvantage for teams this postseason, especially while being on the road. Just saying. Well, I'm just saying I still think it's good for LeBron James.
Yeah, it's definitely good for LeBron.
And Eno Shippering says, a very good speak round. I am like it. Goodbye.
Okay, we had a very good
that.
speak
That sounds
round
like
today.
a good comment.
Do you
good
want to
speak
have
rounds tomorrow?
Yeah, let's have a
Same
speak
time,
round tomorrow.
Same place.
Right here.
In the meantime, check us out at SI Now Live on Twitter.